Hello. Thank you for tuning into the Natural Health Rising podcast. My name is Rachel Smith. I am a certified functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, and I've helped hundreds of people naturally reverse symptoms of autoimmune diseases and other health challenges, from digestive issues to hormone imbalances. And in these weekly episodes, you're going to learn from myself and top health experts from around the world about functional medicine and holistic health tips to help you rise to your healthiest, happiest self. Welcome to today's show where I have Ciaran Wentz with me. Ciaran is a Florida native who possesses a deep passion for entrepreneurship and wellness. With years of experience and ongoing education, he co-founded and currently oversees Vitality Wellness Centers. Vitality Wellness's mission is to bring holistic health services to the community, driven by a sincere desire to promote well-being and assist others. All right, welcome to the show, Ciaran.
What's up, Rachel?
So happy to have you. We met back in December or January because I was in Florida for the holidays, and I stumbled upon the wellness center that you are a co-founder of, which was amazing. So many cool biohacking things there, and I had a really great time. So I'm excited to dive more into different things about biohacking and ways that people can really level up their health. But first, I want to hear a little bit more about your journey into holistic wellness and how did you become a co-founder of this wellness center?
Yeah, so I've just always been chasing a better version of myself. I started going to the gym and eating healthy as far back as college, which for me was 2012, 2013. And it kind of just cascaded into a whole lifestyle change. And I started doing breath work and yoga and meditating and looking into the Ayurvedic medicine side of things and kind of questioning Western medicine. And I got out of college and went into the corporate world and just didn't find happiness and fulfillment within the corporate space. But during this time, I was sharpening my axe, as I say, and I was learning about all these different biohacks. And I started getting into the red light and the hyperbaric and the PEMF and the brain taps and all these different technologies just started popping out. And then I started realizing that they were helping me be a better entrepreneur. They were kind of waking me up to the things that weren't serving me, especially in the corporate world. And I really had a big energy shift to being an entrepreneur, starting my own business and looking for freedom and peace outside of that space that I knew for years to just be true and what I thought I was supposed to do based on what society wanted me to do and what my college degree fast tracked me to do. So I was in corporate finance. And I was day trading on the side, and I wanted to figure out if I could increase my intuition, my awareness, my consciousness. And all these biohacks were doing something for me. And I didn't just notice my energy, my sleep, my performance, my stress go down, but I did notice that I was able to tap into my superpowers, if you will, and have a higher intuition and be more in control of my emotions and be able to see things through a different lens. So fast forward a couple of years and I'm spending all this money and going to all these different facilities. And I'm like, wow, wouldn't it be cool to put everything in one place and make it affordable? So I actually started working for one of our competitors and just learning about the business model, learning about the local demand for this business, and ended up parting ways with them. And how the universe and fate aligned me, I have no idea, but it just so happens that I met the perfect guys that were willing to invest, and we put all our heads together and pooled resources, and Vitality came out of all of that. It was kind of a selfish project of let's put all this stuff in one place for ourselves. And then the business model kind of peeled away, and it was like, okay, we can make this affordable and accessible and easy for everybody. And here we are. Now we have the most modalities at the best price under one roof, and it's totally picking up, and people are waking up to the fact that we're here, and they're getting value from it, and it's been life changing.
That's incredible. I'm so glad you were able to find that path for yourself. I remember when I was working in corporate America as well, and I was super sick at the time too. And then once I finally, like similar story, once I started experimenting with things and trying things, I was like, wait a second, there's a different way to do all of this. There's a different way to work. There's a different, I can start a business, I can be in health in my own way, and I can take care of my body in a way that makes me not only feel better, but then, like you said, have energy and show up more for other people, and become a better entrepreneur too. And I see that all of the time where people will come to me even, and maybe they lost their job, or they're not able to work as much or something because they let their health go to the wayside, or their relationships aren't as good because they let their health go to the wayside. And as soon as they commit, as soon as they really start making the changes and learn how to take care of their health, their relationships get better, they make more money, they're able to get jobs, go back to school. I mean, everything really builds on this foundation of health. So it's so cool that you're able to help people up-level their health in these ways. And I would love for you to also explain what the term biohacking means for any listeners out there who aren't as familiar with that.
Yeah. And to me, biohacking is just learning about your body on a very personal level, figuring out what gives you better energy, better sleep, and how to not hack the system or hack your body, but optimize it. And what tools can you use to sleep better, recover faster, have less stress, more energy? And really, biohacking is like the way you would look at a car. You kind of take diagnostics, you learn about it, and then you start breaking down like, okay, here's what I need for this, this, and this. And then you treat yourself like a giant science experiment and you start figuring out what works best for you. It's not a hack. It's a complement to our already healthy lifestyle. I think biohacking is really important for people who are trying to tap into their true potential, but it's a complement to an already healthy lifestyle. You should have the foundational biohacks down first, getting good sleep, getting good nutrition, getting movement, getting sunshine, doing breath work, stretching every day. Like, to me, those are the three most foundational biohacks there are. Then you can start adding in these cool technologies and then taking yourself to the next level. So for me, it's just a self-experimentation that combines old wisdom and new technology and puts it together in one place.
I like that explanation, and I like that you said finding what works for you and an experiment, because I feel like when I think of biohacking sometimes, or when other people think of it, maybe they're like, oh, biohacking, like everybody has to do ice baths, everybody has to do the sauna for until you're sweating so much and you're stressed out and all these things. It's like, no, you don't have to put yourself in all of those scenarios. You don't have to do all of those biohacks. You don't have to do the sauna 7 times per week. Maybe for you, it's great if you do it a couple times, and just experimenting and finding where your limits are and what makes you feel good versus potentially draining yourself or going in a different direction.
Right.
What are like 3 of your top favorite biohacks, and how have they improved your health personally?
Yeah. First and foremost, number one, it's my favorite biohack of them all. If I could have one for the rest of my life, I tell everybody this would be it. And it's PEMF therapy. That stands for pulse electromagnetic field. And what it is grounding on steroids, essentially. So the earth gives off an electromagnetic field. Walking barefoot or laying on grass or on the sand is a great way to get this charge from the earth. But it's a very weak charge, and you need to spend, an hour or so or more out in nature to be able to get real benefits from it. But PEMF is a highly concentrated grounding bed, essentially, and it uses a magnetic field to pulse through your body. It stimulates every single cell in your body. Out of the trillions of cells, it gives them some voltage back, gives them energy back, helps blood flow circulation, helps pain. It helps with over 80 different health conditions. It got its first FDA approval in 1979 for fixing bone fractures. It's been used to fix racehorses and livestock for decades as a form of non-invasive surgery. And essentially, it's like a human battery charger. I sit on it every single day. It It takes away my muscle soreness. It helps me recover twice as fast. It helps me absorb more oxygen. It makes red light work better. It makes you produce heat shock proteins in the sauna easier, cold shock proteins in the cold bath easier. So it's really like a foundational thing. And we stack it here at Vitality with oxygen, hydrogen, and red light. So you can do all those at the same time. It's helped fix my herniated discs in my spine. And I've watched it help now dozens of people. So it's hands down my favorite thing. Second
Wait,
is
can we
ice.
pause?
Yeah, yeah,
Pause
please.
there? I
Yeah,
have
yeah, yeah.
questions. Okay.
Yeah,
But
please.
yeah, let's do it this way. So you mentioned 1 hour of grounding, and I like that you mentioned grounding because there are some people out there who might be listening to this podcast and they don't have accessibility to a wellness center like you, and they don't have the money to go buy their own PEMF mat because I know they're not cheap if you get a good quality one for some people, right? So for people who want the like I'm gonna go be crunchy and ground my feet outside version, you're saying you need to go outside for like a full hour to really get the same effect as using the mat, correct?
Correct.
And then how frequently, how long is a session? How often do you use if you are able to do the PEMF mats?
Yeah, if you can get on it every single day, obviously that's the ideal situation. We are trained and the science says at the bare minimum, you should do 3 sessions a week for an hour.
Okay.
So just like you should get outside 3 times a week for at least an hour and get some ions from the earth and get some sunshine and get some photons and do the things that make you feel good at least 3 times a week. I think it's a good number. And if you're healing, if you really have some deep healing to do, then you should do it every single day.
Okay. Amazing. Okay, back to your next one. I just wanted to ask that question.
My
You're
next
going
one.
to say ice baths, I think.
Yes, ice baths. And I started doing ice baths like 5, 6 years ago when everybody called me crazy and nobody was talking about it yet. It was kind of just like a Wim Hof thing. Like if you did Wim Hof, then you did ice baths, and it was like this little tight community of people who were all just crazy doing ice baths together. And it just kind of really shocked my system and woke me up to my true potential. And it put me in touch with my autonomic nervous system and made me realize I can control my breathing, I can control my emotions, I can control that CNS in my body in a stressful situation. And if I can overcome doing 3 to 5 minutes in a cold bath every day, then any other stressors that come at me in life, it's like, okay, I've already done something that's way harder than that. This is easily handleable. So not only that, but it just helps me recover faster, sleep better. If I do it in the morning, I get a huge dopamine, serotonin rush, and it lasts for hours after I do it. It's made my skin flush and be brighter and more clear. It's a special thing getting in and putting your body into fight or flight for 3 to 5 minutes. So just for that reason, it's number 2.
I feel like it also rewires your brain to help you do hard things. And like you were saying, like if I can sit in this for a few minutes, I can do anything. And it's an amazing stress management tool. And even this is a little like woo woo, but I used to work at an ice bath center, and I would do ice baths all the time. And when I would get in them, since it feels like you can go into such a deep meditation, I would say my affirmations in there and just get myself into a really positive headspace and really relaxed headspace. Because you're making the decision when you get in, do you want to freak out and act like you can't handle it because it's tough? Or do you want to allow your body to calm down, take some deep breaths, and really take control of your mind and what you're thinking of?
Yeah, for anybody who has a struggle with being present, I think the ice bath kind of forces you into a present state. You're not thinking about the past or the future. You're just purely present in that moment, whether it's a stressful presence or a relaxed presence. You're still right there in that moment, trying not to die biologically. Your body's, in fight or flight. And if you can use that mental capability and callous your mind and sit with it and breathe through it and relax, then you're just going to be more adapt to stress out in the real world. And it's good to feel that stress. It's good hormesis, right?
I was just going to say, have you seen anything on any negative effects of any of these things or contraindications? And
Absolutely.
what would that look like?
Yeah. Um, if anybody has like poor circulation issues or they're naturally cold and they hate the cold, they don't want to get in cold, there is such thing as too much stress or too much cold, and they should really ease into it and not drop in the super low temperatures. They should get in the 55, 50 range, work your way down into the 40, 45 range. You don't have to go super extreme right off the bat. You should ease your way into it. All these people on the internet doing 10, 15, 20 minutes in an ice bath just to show off. I mean, there is such thing as too much, and it can cause a huge spike in cortisol. And that's, as we know, not good for the human body. You want to get in there and listen to your intuition and let the cold kind of tell you what you need. And once you start shivering and your body's like in there for a few minutes, you can get out and get what you need. Of course, like, if a woman is pregnant or if someone's dealing with anything chronic as far as like blood flow, circulation, or heart issues, they should avoid it because, there is a big shock factor to the nervous system. But if you're metabolically healthy and you got a good head on your shoulders, then everybody should jump in there at least once.
Okay, what's your third one? I know you had it
Yeah.
ready to go.
Yeah. And these kind of tie together because it's known as contrast therapy, going back and forth from hot to cold. And so my third would be the infrared sauna. And for me, these three favorites are actually combined in my favorite protocol. I'll do PEMF, sauna, and ice plunge. And depending on the time of the day, I'll switch the order of those if I want energy or relaxation on the back end of it. But I love the sauna so much because I use it in the evening time for sleep. It's helped me detox a lot of heavy metals. It's helped me get mold out of my body. It's given me energy. It's the biggest sleep hack, in my opinion, that there is. If you can get hot at night, it actually drops your core temperature after, and you'll just dump melatonin, which is, a free sleeping pill. I don't like taking melatonin or any type of sleeping pills, but getting in that sauna at night and then going home, drinking some electrolytes, hydrating, and then you just fall asleep like a baby. It's also helped me just realize that, again, you can do hard things, and sitting in the sauna and pushing yourself to a comfortable level, you produce these heat shock proteins, and this does boost your immune system. It can release growth hormones. It's good for your nervous system. I get told my skin is very clear all the time, and they're like, "What do you do?" And I'm like, "Well, I do a lot of these different things, but I truly think one of the biggest factors is drinking high quality water and detoxing and sweating in the sauna every day." And I do sauna without fail at least 4 or 5 times a week. I have one in
Okay.
this facility, which is very amazing, and I'm super grateful for that. And I also have a relax medical grade sauna at home where my head sticks out. And you can actually detox and sweat a lot deeper with your head out because, as we know, your head's a thermal regulator. With your head sticking out, your body can get hotter and detox deeper. So, something I absolutely love.
Okay. I have so many follow-up questions to this.
I love it.
So you said the best time for the sauna for good sleep, or maybe just in general, is at nighttime. Is there a time range, like an hour before bed, 2 hours before bed? What have you found to be optimal?
Yeah, you don't want to do it too late or too soon. I'd say an hour or two before bed is really a good sweet spot. Kind of like the same rule of thumb with food. You don't want to eat 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed. Same with the sauna. You want to not like get out right out of the sauna and lay in bed while your body's still sweating and hot.
Yeah.
Let your body kind of get back to homeostasis, drink some water, do some breath work, meditate, read a book, put your blue light blockers on, and, crawl into bed. And that whole process for me takes about an hour and a half, 2 hours, my little wind down process. But all my lights in my house go red at night. I wear my blue light blockers. I'm not on my phone. I'm on my laptop. I'll play like some meditation music, and I just like stack other things with that. But if I don't do the sauna, I can totally tell the difference. So you want to just, be intuitive and do what works best for you. Again, but yeah, you don't want to go right from the sauna right to bed. It's not like hop out of the sauna, hop into bed type of thing.
Can you just touch briefly on the electrolyte part too? Because I think I hear sauna, sauna, sauna all the time, but not a lot of people talking about the importance of rebalancing your minerals after that.
Right. And that can be the danger of doing a sauna or doing it too much, or you're hydrating with like bottled water or tap water, and that water is not going to absorb into the cells. It's not very bioavailable. It kind of just flushes through the body, and it could even be pulling minerals out of your body. So remineralization is super key. And I use Redmond Real Salt. I'll use Relight electrolytes because they actually use Redmond salt. And then I use something called Quinton hypertonic salt water. And I'll add that into my water. I use Mountain Valley spring water in glass. And as soon as I'm done with the sauna, that's my first priority. I'll actually take about a quarter size amount of salt, Redmond salt, dump it in my hand and eat it. And then I chase that down with my Relight spring water. And that is like, I call it my hyperhydration. Salt water is recognized more of a food in the body than a liquid. So the cells will actually grab it and pull it into the cells more aggressively than they would like low quality water.
Are you in agreement with reverse osmosis at all? Even though it takes the minerals out, what about putting the minerals back in versus...
As long as you're putting it back in, I think it's totally fine. There's even water structures that you can restructure and give the water some movement back. Because spring water, even my Mountain Valley spring water that comes in glass, I still put it through this little vortexer and give it some movement.
Okay.
Because it's mineral water and it's conductive, so you add a little energy into it and it becomes more conductive, and then you add the minerals in at that point. And kind of scientifically speaking, the water molecules should grab on because they're more energetic and it should deliver into your body more efficiently. But as long as you're putting your electrolytes back into your reverse osmosis water, it's totally cool. But if you're just drinking RO water, then it's empty water, and as it's going through your body, it's actually pulling minerals out with it. And same with like if you have reverse osmosis in your house and you're showering in it, it will dry out your hair, dry out your skin. It needs to be remineralized.
Okay, good stuff. Yeah, I always recommend either RO and adding the minerals back in, or Mountain Valley for water. It's the best.
Yeah,
the vortexer, that's a pro step.
Ben Greenfield, his Greenfield Water Solutions, they've got like a copper vortexer. It's a couple $100, and you just run the water through that. And very simple. You can even take one of those frothers. It's just about giving it movement. Because if you think about water in nature, spring water, it's coming out of a moving aquifer or a river or a stream, and it's moving across rocks, and it's picking up electrons and picking up energy. So when you take that water from nature and drink it, it still has living properties. It's electric. It's got a charge to it. Even this Mountain Valley water that sits in glass, like it still needs to have a little bit of movement. So
interesting.
I know it's kind of woo-woo, but I just think like, how can I get as close to nature as possible?
I have this friend who I have a couple friends who do this, who put like nice words on sticky notes and put it on their water and then put it outside, and they have all these extra steps that they do. So yeah, there's a lot more that you can do to your water if you want to try some of the woo-woo steps. And
speaking of woo-woo, you want to hear something? I'll share this. This is a little secret of mine.
Yeah.
But every full moon, I have a heart chakra sound bowl. It's copper. And I'll put my Mountain Valley spring water in there, and I'll set it out in the moonlight and let it sit out there, sometimes all night. And then in the morning, I'll like thank it and put some love and intention into it. And just like whatever goals or whatever affirmations or whatever is going through my awareness at the time, I kind of set that intention, put it into the water, and then I drink it. I call it my moon water. And everybody's like, "You drink moon water?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's my little like full moon ritual."
I think that's great. I mean, I talk to my food sometimes.
I think I talk to my food every day. I talk to my plants.
Talk to the
I
plants, the food, the water,
there's
say
something to
nice
it.
things.
We can talk about all these energy devices and all these fancy biohacks, but sound frequencies and energy and vibration is coming right out of our own mouths, and
Hmm.
it shapes and forms and integrates into life around you. And there's those experiments where they take a plant and they say negative things to
Yes.
it, and then the other plant they say positive things to it, and the negative plant like dies and wilts away, and the
Yes.
one you give love to like thrives. So there's something to that.
I literally teach all of my clients this. I tell them about the water experiments and the plant ones
Yeah,
because when you're sick, if you have an autoimmune disease, any chronic illness, any health issues, if you are saying terrible things to yourself or even thinking that you're not going to get better, you are at some level are keeping yourself held back, right? So we
right.
have to start to change the way we speak to ourselves, the way we think. It's like you said, it's not just going to be like an ice bath and a sauna and supplements that are going to fix you if you have health problems. You got to start to think about some of these other things too.
Right. Positive self-talk, that energy that you are feeling and gravitating towards within yourself has outward effects.
Hmm.
So super important.
Yeah. All right, we're going down a rabbit hole.
Yeah,
let's
yeah. Let's keep
let's
going.
let's go back to a couple questions I had about the sauna actually and the ice baths, and we can
Yeah.
wrap that up. So, um, is there a difference between using an infrared sauna, a dry sauna, or a steam room?
Yes. Great question. So all three have different applications and uses. A hot traditional sauna heats up the ambient air in the sauna around you, and that's how you sweat. Um, that is why when you're outside on the beach and a cloud goes in front of you, um, the temperature changes because the ambient air around you is still getting the same wavelengths of infrared. It's just hot air, and that's how you sweat outside. But when the
Hmm.
sun's hitting you directly, now you're getting potent infrared beams that
Hmm.
penetrate into your body, and that's what an infrared sauna does. It uses light waves to actually get into your body. It penetrates 2 to 3 inches. It gets into the cells, and it releases toxins and helps you sweat from the inside out instead of the outside in type of sweating. So they say the scientific research on an infrared sauna, you can sweat up to 20% of your toxins out, opposed to only 2 to 3% in a conventional sauna. Conventional
Mm.
saunas can also damage your hair and be hard to breathe. So an infrared
Hmm.
sauna, you need less heat, but because of the infrared beams being more potent and detoxing you deeper, you get much better results from it. And then what's the difference between that and a steam room? Steam rooms like ours only get up to like 110, and it's very wet, humid air.
Yeah.
Now we do filter it and infuse it with eucalyptus. So this is more beneficial for the lungs, for the skin, for relaxing. The infrared sauna is, like I say, where I go to put in the work, where I want to detox, where I want the low level cardiovascular exercise, where I want to actually produce those heat shock proteins. That steam room is more of just to relax, rejuvenate, meditate, and get the lung benefits, get the skin benefits. And it really works good for respiratory, like allergy, asthma, congestion, especially with the
Hmm.
eucalyptus because it helps you clear out. So yeah, those are the big differences.
That's so good. And that's something I always think of, and for other people to think of too when they go in a steam room. Are they filtering that water? What is the quality of that water? I would definitely trust going in your steam room because I know you know so much about these details, but I'm like, what's in the water in the other steam rooms? I get so
There's steam and
nervous.
tap water, you know.
Yeah, when I go in those. Um, okay, amazing. And then similar question for the ice bath. So we have a difference in cryotherapy and
Mm,
ice baths. I think
yes.
people might confuse if they're getting the same benefits or different there.
Yeah. So as far as like the muscle recovery or the mental acuity or the shock to the vagus nerve, they're pretty synonymous. But
Okay.
the big difference is, and I just learned about this in this past year, and I dove into the research, and it all checks out. But when you're in an ice bath, if you're crazy enough to do a dunk, which most people don't even do that, then your biggest thermal regulator on your body is getting a quick cool down, 10, 15 seconds. I guess you'd be crazy like I do and go under with a bamboo straw 30, 40 seconds and breathe, but most people won't do that either. So you're missing the brain benefits of the ice bath. So when you get
Mm,
in cryo, your whole brain is in there for the 3 minutes. And this is supposed to release BDNF, which is brain derived neurotrophic factor, which we know is extremely beneficial to the brain. It's supposed to increase the blood brain barrier. And the brain
mm,
is actually a part of the body that holds some of the most inflammation, especially after a night of partying. If you drink alcohol, or you're highly stressed out, or you're in a hot climate like you are here in Florida, this is your thermoregulator. If you don't cool this down, the rest of the body will think there's something wrong. So getting in cryo allows your brain to get a much deeper therapeutic cold wave to be around it and in it. And that comes with all those benefits. So if
mhm.
you're really dealing with chronic brain inflammation or mental issues or anything above the shoulders, you want to go into cryo. You're still going to get the skin benefits, the muscle benefits, the mental benefits, the nervous system benefits, but the big difference is the brain.
Mm, okay. Awesome. I have never done cryotherapy actually. I've done all of these other crazy things, but I've never done cryo because I always thought ice baths were better. But I do had dunk, so I think I'm doing
Nice.
okay.
Yeah, you're killing it. I'm just proud of people for getting in the ice because it's not easy. Like I say, it doesn't get easier. You just get stronger.
Hmm. Yeah. We have time for probably talking about one more big biohack. I'm feeling we talk about quantum healing stuff. Do you have a different
Okay.
direction or does that sound
Mm,
good?
no, that's probably one of my favorite subjects because
Oh,
it's all
perfect.
about measuring the unmeasurable. And there's so many things within this quantum healing space that there's no science there yet. There's no evidence. There's no, this is definitely going to do this. But I've seen it help, and I've seen so many anecdotal testimonials for what quantum healing and energy does to human biology that there's got to be something to it. And everybody says, oh, it's a placebo effect. And I think scientists and the whole community as a whole should really look into this whole placebo effect more because it's kind of proof that quantum healing and the power of the mind actually really does work and have a valid place in scientific research. So let's do it.
Yeah, so what is it? What the heck is quantum healing and
Yeah,
what how can we do this?
right. I'm a big Star Wars nerd, so I like to tell people it's me tapping into the Force. But
Hmm.
for the people out there who have never seen Star Wars, quantum healing and quantum energy is the when you think about your friend and they call you,
Hmm.
or you and your friend say the same thing at the same time, like these little synchronicities in the world that are like, wow, that's crazy that happened. What a crazy coincidence. We are on an energetic plane. We're on a giant electromagnetic Earth, and we are mostly water that are full of minerals, so we're highly conductive. And we know that different music and different light and sound frequencies, like music affects our moods in different ways. The TV and television, and we watch programs. If you watch a movie and something emotional happens and you shed a tear, like that's a biological response from the light and sound frequencies that are coming into your awareness. So this quantum energy points at there's something energetic within ourselves and within this existence and universe around us that we can tap into and use it to optimize our bodies. We can use this to raise our intuition and dare I say maybe even heal the body. And there's a lot of people that look at Nikola Tesla and think that he understood a lot of this. There's the whole fact that there's something called a Rife machine that they use the
Hmm.
noble gases and frequencies and they point it at cancer cells, and cancer cells do not like these frequencies going through them. There's videos of them vanishing almost immediately when they're hit with certain frequencies. Um, 432 hertz is what a lot of the old classical music is tuned to, and it makes animals happy. And you can see there's all these different things in nature that point at certain energies, do certain positive things to living creatures and our moods and the way things interact in the world around us. And then there's also like the bad frequencies, the EMFs, the
Mm,
horror movies, the things that when you watch a horror movie, you get a fear response and you get scared. That's another hint that there's a energetic response happening. So I think we all have this ability. We're kind of all these little like semiconductors on this giant platform, and we're all tapped into this universal power. And maybe religious people call that God or source, or, you know, there's something out there that we can't measure, but we know it's there. And to me, that is what the quantum space and quantum energy kind of points at.
hmm.
What do you
Okay.
think?
No, this is a good explanation you made when you said horror movies. I grew up watching horror movies for some reason. I really liked them, and I would have nightmares all the time. And I would always, I lived in Florida for a long time, and I was always going to Halloween horror nights and those things that they have at the amusement parks. And I was realizing, like, oh my gosh, this stuff like actually makes me scared in my real life. This is impacting my mental health, my brain, my body. And I made a commitment years ago to stop watching horror movies because I was like, I don't want any part of those, like the bad frequencies and the imprinting on my mind that that is doing. Um, and this goes back to even what we were talking about just a few minutes ago with saying nice things to ourselves, saying nice things to water and food, because the words that we're using are also a frequency. Our
Mm.
voices are giving that off. So it's, it goes both ways. Is there a machine, a tool, something? You mentioned the Rife machine. Is there something that you guys have at your facility or that other people can access to utilize um, frequency for their health?
Yeah, so we do have the biocharger, which is a Tesla coil combined with a Rife machine. And this has hundreds of different frequencies, and it uses PEMF, light, sound, and harmonics to create a synergistic response in the body that can help you tap into that source energy, that chi energy, that internal energy that you have. Um, there's even a recipe on there called abundance, and this is like a manifestation recipe, and you can kind of
Mm,
meditate. And honestly, the best tool to tap into the quantum is you and your heart and your mind, and making sure your body's in a place to have free flowing energy. And if you're on the hippie side of things or the scientific side of things, it's called your chakras. In the scientific community, it's your energy centers. And if you can align these things and create the right headspace and combine all these things together, I think that's the most powerful quantum tool that you possess. Now, of course, you can do something like PEMF or the biocharger, or they have certain charged up technology like the Lila Quantum, or they have something called an immortal bed now that you lay on, and it's like a healing frequency bed that helps you tap into this energy. All these tools now, but just using your mind and the power of manifestation and the law of vibration, and really getting quiet with yourself, and listening to the tools around you to utilize to invite these things into your life, I think is the most powerful thing ever. Even vitality was a total manifestation. I remember just sitting there believing that something was going to work out and I would meet the right people and it would all come into place. I had no idea how any of this was going to work, but I just like had that feeling, and I like humbly, with no ego, like expected it to happen because I knew I was putting in the work and thinking the right things and living the right life. And I just knew if I was patient enough and I kept doing what I was doing, that it would manifest itself. And now I can sit here almost a year and a half later and say that's exactly what happened. And I got goosebumps like talking about it, because it is just proof that when your parents told you you can do anything you set your mind to, maybe not that easily. It takes a lot of practice and a lot of work, kind of like building muscle. But if you really tap into it and you trust in your own self and these tools, then you can definitely get there.
mm-hmm. Oh gosh. We could talk about manifestation for a long time. I should actually do a full episode on manifestation because it's
We
played
can.
a really big role in my life, and I feel like I have manifested the craziest things, and it really is having that power of belief and also putting in the work. You can't just think you're going to have this center and then you don't do anything. You have to
Yeah.
do steps, right? But
Kind
also
of like
believing.
I'm Irish, so I'm supposed to believe in luck, and I do to an extent. But I also believe that luck is just where like preparation and opportunity like come together
Hmm.
with the power of some positive thought and, putting in the work, because you could sit here and ask God or the universe for these things, but without a reciprocal energy response to match that, it's like manifestation is just, you put the frequency out there that you're looking for. Now it's your job to match that frequency. And to the quantum conversation, I think when you can figure out how to match frequencies with what you are trying to look for or manifest, I think that's truly how the quantum field is represented in the human experience. We are just looking to match the frequencies of what we need in life. And it
Hmm.
just takes practice to understand what frequency that you're looking for and how to get there.
Hmm. Well, how does someone raise their frequency? How does someone match, like they think of this thing, they're like, okay, but how do I match that?
Yeah, get proper nutrition, high quality foods, happy foods. Like you want to get meat and fish if you're a meat eater from a good source, from cows that were living happy lives that were humanely killed. You want to get organic, locally sourced vegetables that weren't sitting on a truck and sitting in a grocery store for weeks. You want fresh, ideally from a place that has really high quality soil. You want to drink high quality mineral water. You want to get proper sunlight. You want to make sure you're doing breath work. You want to make sure your quality of your relationships in your life are on point. You want to make sure that you're living a low stress lifestyle, that you love your job and you're passionate about what you're doing. You want to have a good living environment. And then beyond that, you can add some of these biohacks into your life and really step it up a notch. But it's really all those foundational things is where you need to start.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I
And
totally agree with that.
and then once your vibration, and I swear you can like feel it and you'll just wake up one day and you'll feel lighter. And I think it really has something to do with our atoms. Like once your vibration is higher, your atoms are moving a little bit faster. And we are just empty space. If you could like zoom in on us at a super micro level, we're just empty space. All this
Hmm.
matter around us is just atoms. If I could match the frequency of the wall behind me, I could walk through it, technically speaking.
Hmm.
So I think it's just up to us to be able to treat our bodies the right way to raise our vibration so you can match the things around you. All the good things in life, the benevolent things, the good things are all high vibrational fields. Even emotions like fear and guilt and all those negative emotions are very low vibrational frequencies, but love and happiness and all these things are a, on a frequency level, it's a different looking frequency. And if we can match those frequencies, then special things will happen.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, people can Google, I guess, the emotion scale, the scale of
Yes.
emotions,
You
to
know what I'm talking.
see.
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, I show all my clients this too. I'm like,
Yes.
okay, here's where you are. Yeah,
Yes.
here's where we need to be. No, but just explaining that concept. But it's like a pyramid like scale. I'm trying to think of what direction it goes in, and then it will show you the different emotions and then the frequency that matches each of those emotions, and so you can get an understanding of um, where you're really vibrating. I think the scale is from David Hawkins, right?
Yes. Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
David
Yeah.
Hawkins. Cool. Um, any final things on some of those foundational things you just talked about? So we talked a little bit about water. Can you speak on either food or sunlight? Like if you have a nugget of wisdom that you'd like to share before we wrap up, what would you say to
Yeah.
people on those?
The food I think I hit on really well. Just make sure it's getting it from a good source and as fresh as you can. The sunlight could be difficult for a majority of the population because maybe the weather around you isn't ideal for sunshine all the time. So I think it's really important that you get UVB light bulbs in your home, and then you get a
Mm.
red light in your home. But I have a reptile at home, and she thrives because I give her UVB light, and this helps them stay healthy. Humans are the same way. You need a UVB, and you can help your body synthesize vitamin D, and you can get a little bit of the spectrum of healthy light that you get from the sun. But we are light beings. I know that sounds woo woo, but we're solar beings. We need sunlight to charge our cells. Our cells are photoreceptive. Getting sun in your eyes triggers certain hormone responses. You need sunlight. And
Mm-hmm.
most people, if you think about it, wake up in their house with their fluorescent lights. They get in their car with their artificial lights. They go to their office with their artificial lights. They get back in their car. Then they go back home. And in that whole day, and sometimes they do this 5 days a week, they never get out in the sun.
Mm-hmm.
And people say, "Oh, Ciaran, what about skin cancer?" I think with moderation, and you can train your body to just get little increments of sun every single day. You don't need to lather your body in toxic sunscreen every time you go out in the sun. Now, if you're planning, like here in Florida, to go sit at the beach all day and you know you're going to be exposed, some all healthy zinc oxide on your hot spots, on your chin, on your face, 100% you need to do that. I use a brand called Raw Elements. Super clean, coral, doesn't kill any coral reefs or anything. Yeah, you need sunscreen, but you also need to let your body adapt, and you need to get out in the sun every single day. And if you can
Mm-hmm.
be barefoot, and while you're out there, if you can just take some big belly breaths and breathe some good intentions and think some positive things into your life while doing that, it just synergizes that whole process. And then you combine that good food and that good water in with that. To me, you're doing the most foundational biohacks of them all. And that's where you should start. I preach the foundational things. I think those are so overlooked. Again,
Mm-hmm.
that's why I almost don't like the word biohacking, because you can't just have an unhealthy lifestyle and then get all these technologies and think it's just going to fix you. It
Yeah.
needs to be a whole like synergistic relationship with you and your body and these technologies. And if you can get in tune with those and manifest it into your life in the right way and learn about yourself, and we didn't talk about this, but real quick, looking into your genetics, looking at your
Mm.
blood type, looking at your food sensitivities. You might have, your doctor might tell you you need to eat broccoli, but your gut biome might not be equipped to break down broccoli the right way. Might need to eat Brussels sprouts instead of broccoli. You might need to eat more fish than red meat, or chicken than red meat. Everybody has a different gut biome, and we should really pay attention to what we're putting in our gut. Food is medicine, food is fuel, and look into your genetics and then customize your whole lifestyle plan around what works best for you. Because what works best for you, Rachel, might not work best for me. And if you bought a super high-end supercar tomorrow, they'd give you a whole list of things that it needs to make that car run perfectly. Why
Mm-hmm.
don't we look at our genetics, our food sensitivities, our gut bacteria? Why don't we have our own blueprint for like what works best for Ciaran or what works best for Rachel? Why aren't we customizing our lifestyle and healthcare plans based on us individually instead of just like using the shotgun method for everybody? Like, oh, keto worked for me, so like everybody should go keto. It's dangerous, and there's fallacies through all of it. And one of my biggest passions is in this space is just saying like, hey, let's figure out what works best for you. Look into all these things, invest in yourself, take the tests,
Mm-hmm.
figure this out. 90% of your serotonin's in your gut. Maybe you should take care of your gut before going to your doctor and saying you're depressed and getting on SSRIs.
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor. This isn't health advice. I'm speaking from pure experience and what I've seen, but I've definitely seen enough and have the experience to tell you there's something to all this, especially everything we just talked about, and there's magic within it. And you just have to be willing to open up your mind, do the research, and take the leap of faith within yourself and figure it
Mm-hmm.
out. Because you
Yeah.
either pay now and figure it out now, or you're going to reach a point in life where you have no choice but to take pills or go to the Western medicine system or do these drastic things that are going to cost a lot of money and take up a lot of your time and might not even work.
Yeah. That's why I always start, like, the very first thing that I do with my clients is test. We test
Yeah.
their gut microbiome, their nutrient status, toxins, all of these other aspects that we want to see, what's triggering these symptoms? Why are you like this? What's going on in your gut? Let's fix those things. And oh my gosh, like I could never go back from functional medicine after knowing all this stuff and seeing
Let's actually get to the root cause and figure out what's going on. What a crazy theory.
So, yeah. And then a quick comment about the light stuff too. I've also had, I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but I've had clients tell me that they burn less once they change their diet to be more antioxidants, anti-inflammatory. So your nutrition and your lifestyle can even play a role in your skin health and how you're responding to the sun. And as you said, you also build resiliency. You never want to burn yourself by any means. And then another quick thing I want to mention, because I talked to this lady yesterday, this is going to be the podcast episode before this one, who is a crazy, amazing designer, home designer and fashion designer who specializes in designing homes for wellness. And we also talk about, so not just like the toxin-free materials, but even the types of pictures on the walls and how it impacts your mood and your health, the types of colors, where the lighting is in your house, what types of lighting,
Wow.
if
That's
the lighting, like how it shouldn't be overhead and how it should be here, because at night this will signal that the sun is here, like all this crazy stuff. I actually learned a lot yesterday.
Biohacking feng shui.
Yes. So
Yeah.
as you said, if somebody's listening and you're the person who has your blinds closed all day and then you get in your car and you go to work and you're stuck in an office that doesn't have any windows, go back and listen to that episode, because you'll learn more about how to change your environment and also just get outside. But like, how can you also change your environment if you're stuck in some of these places like your own home, where you can start to adjust these things to improve your health. Okay, we are running out of time and I want to keep going, but we'll wrap up with a quick speed round. So just answer first thing that comes to your mind, like one sentence if possible.
Okay.
All right. Or one word, what's one supplement you couldn't live without?
Magnesium.
Specific form or just any magnesium?
I take Bioptimizers. It's all 7 forms, but if I had to choose one, gun to my head, 3 and 8.
Cool. Okay.
Just because it helps my overactive brain rest at night. But yeah. Okay.
Favorite mindfulness practice?
Meditation.
Specific type of meditation?
Wim Hof breathing followed by meditation.
Okay. If you could travel anywhere in the world right now, where would you go and why?
I would go to Japan just because the culture fascinates me, and there's something about all of the islands and nature in Japan that has just been calling to me.
I really want to go there too. That's super high on my list.
Same.
What's the best purchase you've made in the last year that cost you less than $100?
My grounding sheets for my bed, organic eucalyptus grounding sheets. And I track my HRV with my Whoop band. And when I travel and I come back, I noticed an immediate 20-point spike in my HRV.
Wow. Okay. You'll have to send me the link.
I got you.
If you could eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be? Only one meal.
A nice grass-fed, grass-finished steak. Yep.
No sides, just the steak.
I get some sides. Okay, yeah. I do some kimchi and some green beans with some bacon.
Okay, nice.
Yep.
And last question, if you could leave the listeners with one tip that they could implement this week to help them live a healthier, happier life, what would that be?
Just operate from a place and frequency of love, and try to love yourself, love the things around you. Remember that life happens for you, not to you. And even in your darkest times, if you can just switch that frequency of love, it is the most powerful and highest frequency that we know of. And it will shift you into a new dimension of happiness and abundance. And it sounds so woo-woo and maybe a little cliche, but it's a powerful, powerful hack.
It's a great one. So share with people where they can find you and connect with you, if so. And of course, you could talk about Vitality as well.
Yeah. So I'll spell out my Instagram handle. It's my first last name, Ciaran Wentz. It's spelled Ciaran, like the CIA ran, and then Wentz all together. I have a link in my bio that is attached to Vitality Wellness. You can follow us at Vitality St. Pete. St. Pete is STPET. And from there, I'm on TikTok with the same handle, and I'm on Facebook with the same name. I put out a lot of content around all of the stuff, little tips, tricks, and lifestyle hacks, and we're just growing and getting better every day. So I'm here to help people. It's my biggest passion in life. I say we are purpose-driven, not profit-driven. So I'm just here to help people. So if anybody's listening or wants to reach out with any questions at all, I'm an open book. I'm here to share and help as much as I can.
Wonderful. And we have a code for people. If you live in St. Pete or Florida, or you want to go visit St. Petersburg, Vitality, and that gives you a discount on membership or some cryo sessions. So that's also, the details for that are going to be in the show notes for people to grab.
Awesome. Yeah. And if you come into Vitality and you watch this whole podcast and you mention it, I can make it one better. I'll give you your whole first month free at Vitality. So
all right.
For those people who stuck around and listened, there you go.
Amazing. Everybody go grab that. Well, this has been a pleasure. And thank you again so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. It was awesome. It was a great conversation.
Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like this video and comment, letting me know what you enjoyed and what you want to see more of. Also, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you get alerts when new content is coming out and you don't miss any videos. And just a quick reminder that this information is for educational and entertainment purposes only. It is not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any illness or medical condition. Please consult with a qualified healthcare professional before making any changes to your diet, exercise routine, supplements, or medical treatment. If you're looking for a functional medicine practitioner, please reach out to me. And thank you again for watching, and keep striving to become your healthiest, happiest self.